Good morning from the Evening Standard newsroom in London. I'm Tanya Snuggs. All remaining coronavirus restrictions have been lifted in England on so-called Freedom Day. It means businesses still closed, including nightclubs, can finally reopen, some for the first time since March 2020, and there are no longer limits on how many people can meet, and pubs and restaurants don't have to provide table service. Face coverings are also not required by law, but are recommended in some spaces, and London Mayor Saddiq Khan has asked Transport for London to keep them mandatory on the network. Critics say the strategy of fully reopening will not only cause deaths, but also debilitating long COVID in many, while increasing risks to the clinically vulnerable. But Health Secretary Sajid Javid has previously said the vaccination programme has severely weakened the link between infections, hospitalisations and deaths.
I'm going to be self-isolating until the 26th of July, Monday, the 26th of July.
Meanwhile, after coming into contact with Mr Javid, who's tested positive for COVID, the Prime Minister and the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, will be spending Freedom Day isolating. Downing Street had initially said both would not have to quarantine by taking part in a workplace testing scheme, but after a furious outcry with accusations of hypocrisy at a time when staff shortages due to people being forced to self-isolate after being pinged by the NHS COVID app and threatening supply chains, Number 10 issued a rapid U-turn and announced the pair would be self-isolating after all. Boris Johnson admitted he looked briefly into the idea of the pilot scheme, but felt it was far more important that everybody sticks to the same rules. Emergency services have responded to several incidents of people getting into trouble in water as England experienced the hottest day of the year so far, with temperatures rising above 30 Celsius. Police in Manchester say a 19-year-old man died at Salford Quays and a teenage girl was taken to hospital in Oxfordshire. People flocked to beaches across the UK, with forecasters predicting the very hot weather will last until at least Thursday. In sport, Collin Morikawa held off a challenge from fellow American Jordan Spieth to create history with victory in the Open on his championship debut at Royal St George's. South Africa's Louis Oosthuizen was the man to beat, and a closing 66 gave 24-year-old Morikawa a winning total of 15 under par and two-shot victory. And Max Verstappen has accused title rival Lewis Hamilton of being disrespectful and unsportsmanlike for celebrating his British Grand Prix win at Silverstone while he was in hospital. The pair were involved in a huge collision on the first lap, which led to the Dutchman crashing out and being admitted for precautionary tests. Hamilton fought back from a 10-second penalty for the incident to claim a dramatic win on a day which saw 140,000 spectators at Silverstone, the largest number of people at a sporting event since the start of the pandemic.